This is Carol and Chris, Coffee Conversations at Nine Flags Coffee Roasters at 1504 North Street, Nacogdoches, Texas. This is the Corona Podcast Special Edition, and that's why we're dressed the way we are. We are ready for anything and everything that comes. We are podcasting from a remote location, undisclosed, in our underground bunker.
I'm wearing what I normally wear.
You think this is unnecessary?
Yes. It looks warm.
It's my heart.
It looks very warm. Are you in Russia? Why is this
Boy,
hat necessary?
That's it.
It's overkill.
It's overkill.
I'm concerned about you overheating in that. It was 80 degrees at 6 p.m. yesterday.
Do you know that was yesterday? There's a front that's come in today.
Okay, but how much colder is it going to get? Are we talking like 29?
There could be ice everywhere. There could be a whole global climate change because of this coronavirus.
I doubt it.
You doubt it?
Yeah.
This corona has affected the whole world. Every society is affected.
Are we allowed to call it the Chinese virus?
That's right. It's called the Chinese
Are we?
virus. So we are supposed to be, as we are sitting in our underground bunker.
Yes.
Our underground bunker is sponsored by Nine Flags Coffee. They built it specially for emergencies like this. It is capable of taking a 6 kiloton direct hit of nuclear energy.
Wow, I doubt that.
We had the
I
whole
think
place.
it's more like the Three Little Pigs in this scenario.
3 little
It's
pigs.
like the House of Sticks or something. I think a bunker would be an exaggeration of.
One time, sometime I need to tell you the story about the P. Little Frigs.
Okay.
And they had their Hick Strauss, their Hick Browse,
My head hurts.
and their Hall
I
Strauss.
don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear it.
Okay. all right.
Moving on.
And where the wolf
I'll remind you some other time to
and the
tell
wolf
me that story.
chewed down the Slimney.
Oh gosh.
Well, we understand now the coronavirus is here.
Is it here? Is it loose in Nacogdoches?
It was there, but I just got it. I just got it. Those little round things with the little red things that stick all up around it.
Oh, you mean, yeah.
You've seen them on TV and the little orange squiggly things.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if you see one, darn it, there's
That
another
is
one.
very loud.
Okay. We've got to get rid of these coronavirus.
Okay,
Yeah, the
so-
coronavirus is in Rusk County, Smith County, Gregg County. I think they just had a child care scare in Angelina County.
Child, what does that mean? Like a kid has it?
One of the parents that doesn't live here, now I am assuming there's some kind of child visiting, but he visited and that child was in a child care center, and I think the father who visited him tested positive for corona.
Okay, so.
So they shut the child care down in Angelina County, that one particular child care. But I understand we're supposed to stay 6 feet away from each other.
Oh. Ugh.
But now,
That's very tiring.
did you just move over a little bit?
Yeah, I
Try and
did.
make this 6 feet. You'll not make 6 feet. You'll get out of the camera.
That's okay. We need a photo of my head on a popsicle stick, and then I'll just. When
move
I'm
in
not
and out.
here, you can just use that. I'm okay with not being on a camera.
We were going to have a guest
Oh, what?
up here, but because of the coronavirus,
Oh, what a.
we could not have more than.
Who was this guest?
We could not have 10 people in our.
10 people?
Well, you can't have that many. But listen, here we are. This is an undisclosed location.
Am I going to get fined for being 6 feet, within 6 feet of you?
That's why we're in the bunker. They don't know that we're 6 feet apart.
We're not 6 feet apart.
They don't know that we're less than 6 feet. wait a minute, this podcast is going out. They,
So they don't know where we're at.
and they're going to have
I
to,
think they could figure it out.
they can't figure it out. The whole place is lined with barbed wire.
Okay, so you arranged a guest. Who was the guest? You're not going to tell me, though. Who is this guest? Alleged. Alleged.
I am not.
I don't know with you.
I will not participate in such foolishness.
Well, so what happened to this guest?
So, no more than 10 people.
So you invited 8 people?
I did not.
Did you invite one person?
No. They wanted to be here. They invited themselves.
Oh, I don't like that.
And then, because of the coronavirus
I need to know who this person is before they're allowed.
and the restrictions, what does that mean?
That means there's 2 of us in this podcast, and you don't get to just dictate.
I'm
who's
not
the-
dictating anything.
who's
It's,
the
it's
guest?
someone who is barging in. These are
You
now,
sound like you're okay with the barging, though. That you're just like, yeah, come on down.
No.
We'll have a guest.
we're going to get off the coronavirus here for just a minute.
Yes.
But tell me about this sidling.
Oh, sidling?
Yeah, tell me about this
Oh,
sidling, the
sidling.
experience you had about sidling. In case you don't know what sidling is, podcast viewers, Corona Carol is about to tell us.
Okay. You're going to have to refresh my memory on what I was talking about with the sidling.
Okay.
Because I don't remember. I remember something about sidling.
Your husband was in a line going somewhere.
Sidlers.
And there were oh, look,
Ugh.
the squinting blue eyes.
They're not blue. So recently, well, I think should we cover what sidling is first?
Well, I think you need to tell the story, and
Okay,
then
okay.
through telling the story, they
Uh,
will know what sidling and those who sidle.
Okay, so, well, I think this is appropriate at this time because of the lines, dealing with lines, being mentally prepared for lines, waiting, being fair, being an adult. So Nacogdoches County Humane Society recently did a Valentine's event for the county, which was a free spay or neuter for up to 2 pets in your home
This was 5 weeks ago.
whenever Valentine's was.
It's usually the 14th.
And a rabies shot. And so they ran that for a week, and we had recently had a stray dog wander up that we decided we were going to keep, but he was unneutered. So we thought, well, we'll just go down and get one of these deals for the free neuter. And so my husband goes down there, and in the morning, they're not open yet, but a line has formed. There are ladies in front of him. There are some older ladies. They're waiting at the door, and then there are people behind them. Well, here comes an individual who is doing the floaty dance.
The floaty
The
dance.
floaty dance is a thing. It's the willful ignorance of like, I don't see what everybody else is doing. I'm going to kind of like be casually not committing to the line. People also do this in the grocery store.
This is a pre-sidler.
Yeah, he hasn't sidled yet, but he is meandering towards the door. And my husband zones in on this. This is unacceptable because A, you're an adult, and we don't cut the line as an adult. And by the time you're an adult, you should identify a line and the order of go.
Recognize the responsibilities.
Yes, you go. You have shown up. There are 7 people. You are now the 8th person.
and the orderliness of a line.
Yes, you don't well, what happens is once you have a floater who's sidling, they're inching their way towards the front, it encourages other people to do so. The orderliness has been lost, and now you have multiple people with a questionable character that are aiming to get to the front of that line. And the little old ladies in the front, they're not likely to reprimand a grown man that knows better than to do that.
If they
Now,
had
some might.
if they had a taser, they wouldn't have to.
Well, the door opens, and my husband gladly tells this individual
Because
to
they're
go.
about to sidle
They were
in the line.
sidling their way in
Into
front
the-
of these ladies, giving himself the first position. And my husband, puts out the arm and says, no way, buddy. You got to go to the back of the line. And I'm sure it was far more curt than that. But said Seidler then, oh, is there a line? This surprise motion that these people do, that they were unaware of.
Is this a learned action, or is this just a reflexive action?
It is.
A defensive-
They've probably gotten away with it before.
A defensive move. Me?
I didn't see all those other 27 people forming a straight, line-shaped situation.
Okay, Seidler, slide right on the back.
Sidlers. Yeah, you got to watch out, and they got to be called out on it. You can't have line cutters
So, podcast viewers,
sidling.
if you want to have an orderly society of which you are a member, when you see sidling, call them out.
And you know what? It's not wrong to ask, hey, what is this line for? If you're not sure of the line, or which line you're supposed to be in, or whatever, ask a question. But don't float around.
Floaty.
Don't do the floaty dance. You don't even have a place in line when you're doing a floaty dance.
All right,
Anyways, sidling.
back to the corona.
More Corona. Okay.
Of course, more corona. So, we're supposed to say 6 feet apart.
Yes.
No more than 10 people gathered in a place. Now, if you have 10 people gathered in different places, how far apart can the gatherings be and still be considered separate? 50 feet?
I don't know.
100 feet?
Is there a stipulation? around
100
that?
miles?
I don't know. Is there a stipulation?
Well, there's a definition of a crowd.
There
How far
is.
does one crowd have to be away from another crowd to be considered two different crowds?
It's very tiring to figure out.
Wash your hands.
Oh,
This
duh.
is one.
I just love that everybody just figured this one out. And buying cleaning products, like, are we not cleaning? Have we not cleaned? Why is this suddenly like a, we're in a rush to have?
Toilet paper. Let me just educate you a little bit on this toilet paper thing.
I'm all about the bidet.
Well,
I don't have one.
what
but-
we're going to talk about here with toilet paper is what we might refer to as America's grossest national product. Do you like that?
That's,
Toilet paper.
oh gosh. Oh good.
Toilet paper.
Get ready.
Originally was invented in 1857 by a Joseph Gafferty. It wasn't called toilet paper at the time. This is in England, and they were called medicated papers, and they were flat sheets. Do you doubt me on this?
No, I do not. So
And
they
they-
had to start somewhere.
And they were infused with aloe.
Were people tired of using leaves or something?
There have been lots of things that have been used.
Sponges on a stick. That was the Romans.
That was the Romans. They had a sponge on a stick
Communal.
in the communal toilets, and then you would stick it in a bucket of salt
Oh
water
my gosh,
for the
it's
next guy.
so gross.
So here you go, Fred. I'm done. Well, it was all they had at the time. Shards of pottery, corn cobs. That was the old famous one here in early America. Leaves, pine needles,
Pine needles.
fur.
How does what do you grab a handful? That's an unreliable wiper right there. It's
All right.
a bunch of pine needles.
So, Joseph Gafferty, in 1857, I'm sorry, this was in New York, not in England. This was
Oh.
in New York. That's why this is America's grossest national
Okay.
product.
Okay. So we
And it
have
was-
an innovator here.
It was paper made from manila hemp that was soaked or infused with aloe. And
Aloe is very soothing.
he was, well, we haven't come much farther than that. I think hemorrhoid H,
Preparation H.
yeah, preparation H has aloe in it.
There's a lot of things with aloe in it.
Okay.
I don't know about Preparation H. I don't have any hemorrhoids.
Mr. Gafferty was so proud of his product that on every sheet he had his name
Well,
printed on it.
it was probably pretty good compared to pine needles or corn.
Or,
cob.
or shards of clay or sand.
It's very exfoliating.
Those people that lived in the desert where they don't have leaves or corn cobs, they had sand. Water, you referred to the bidet.
Yeah, you know what's funny about the bidet? Let's talk about the bidet because
Oh, please, I'm uncomfortable. Well, go ahead.
so toilet paper actually doesn't clean. It just wipes away. It doesn't remove bacteria. Is this making you uncomfortable?
Keep going.
The bidet showers and rinses away. And Americans have this weird attitude like it's beneath them. Like, what about on a hot, humid day and you've been working in the yard? Like, don't you want a little mini shower?
That is a
to-
great mini
to
shower.
rinse away the swampy.
People were
What is wrong with this idea?
people were embarrassed to talk about these. This was unmentionable stuff. That's why it was not referred to as toilet paper at the time.
Medical tissue or whatever is fine. I don't care what they call it.
Well, in 1890,
There's a lot of people with the swampy back then.
the Scott brothers invented toilet paper on a roll as we know it.
Oh, okay.
And because it was one of these things that was unmentionable, they didn't lay claim to their invention until 1902.
It's funny.
Yes.
Such a obviously necessity.
People were embarrassed about bodily functions back then.
Well, pooping's pretty gross.
Well, in 1928 now, Hans Klink, you like it? Klink. Hans Klink started selling rolls of toilet paper in Europe in 1928. I mean, this is getting kind of modern day
Yeah.
stuff.
Chamber pots.
There were chamber pots, yeah. And they used to, in Europe, they used to throw them out on the street. That's why it was tough to go barefooted.
Yeah, let's talk about disease.
Well, in 1935, Northern Tissue makes splinter-free toilet paper.
That is very considerate.
This is a great.
I think nobody was
improvement.
unfamiliar with splinters, it sounds like.
Who pulls the splinters out?
I think you probably, I don't know.
Nine-
It's not a problem. I'm glad it's not a problem I have to deal with. currently.
1942 is when we started getting two-ply tissue, and it started getting softer. And the number one selling toilet paper today is Charmin Extra Strength. Extra Strength.
For them big old turds.
Here we go. I'm getting uncomfortable again. I'm getting uncomfortable. Well,
You don't want any dingleberries.
and that, do you
should
know
have
that,
never brought this subject
do you know
up.
that we had another toilet paper scare back in 1973? Johnny Carson made a joke on air, and people started stockpiling toilet
Oh,
paper.
really? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Interesting.
This is an interesting quote. This was from a 16th century French poet talking about the cleaning of our derrieres.
Bidet. Get in the river.
Quote, the best way to clean up was the neck of a well-downed goose if you hold her head between your legs.
That is disgusting and weird.
I'm sorry. This is what French poet.
Who would go? Okay, a poet. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's soft, it's downy.
Listen, I
Listen.
had I had a dream about a goose last night. That it bit me.
Why?
That there was these little.
Why?
It had baby geese, and I didn't realize. I don't know where this goose came from. I have no geese. I have no ducks.
Are they goslings?
But they were little, and I was like, why is this goose acting unusually wild? Because geese are a dinosaur
They're very-
looking deal anyway.
They're very aggressive.
They're very aggressive, and this goose bit me and wouldn't let go. That's so funny. And then I figured out, oh, there's baby geese. That's why she's being.
She didn't bite you too hard if you thought it was
Weird.
funny.
No, it wasn't. In the dream, it wasn't funny. I was like, how do I get this goose off of me? Why is this happening? When did I get geese?
Was the goose on your head or?
No, she had a hold of me. Had a hold of me, and I couldn't. Dreams are weird.
Were you walking along or were they just in your
I was
yard?
walking. They were in my yard. I was walking along, and this goose came after me. And in my dream, I seemed to understand that I had geese, but don't know where they came from.
I got this now. The French poet had an experience like you had. So, he said, I know how to get back.
Listen.
Put a well-down goose between your legs.
You are asking for some stuff to get nipped. If you do that, and it ain't gonna be fun.
Do you know how much toilet paper the average American uses in a year?
I have no.
Just guess.
I don't know.
Just
How
guess.
can I guess
You
that?
can always guess.
Is this sheets or rolls?
Rolls. How many rolls of toilet paper
I don't know.
does he have?
30.
No, good guess. 100.
Oh, that's not a good guess.
It's
not
a good guess.
not
Who,
even-
I mean,
It's not even
you
close.
just well, it doesn't have to be close. It was a
Is
good
that
guess
my
because you played the game.
My participation trophy right there.
Yes. Now, when you put a roll of toilet paper on the spool, do you roll from the top or you roll from
You
the
know
bottom?
what? This is the stupidest argument.
This is not a stupid argument.
It is. I put it on because of social pressure. I pay attention to how I put it on the roll now.
Pressure?
Yeah, because
Who pressures
'cause
you
you
as to how to
have-
put the
you
toilet
have-
paper on?
there's a movement afoot.
A movement?
Yeah, that this is some sort of sign, some sort of red flag in a relationship if the toilet paper roll goes
Now I know where the pressure's coming from.
incorrectly. And I think if this is what you're worried about, you're the person with the problem.
Are you a top roller or a
I
bottom roller?
don't care because I'm a capable human and I can figure out how to unroll toilet paper.
Psychoanalysts will tell you that those who top roll are more aggressive, dominant in their relationships. And bottom rollers are more passive in their
I
relationships.
just want to make sure there's toilet paper for people, and if they want to fuss about it, they can do it themselves.
I think that if you don't care, you're somebody that just wants to get along.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
So there is value.
There isn't any value.
So getting back to the coronavirus now, unless you want to talk about toilets.
No, toilets. I saw a whole documentary on toilets. I
Yep.
know about them. They're not that interesting. I'm glad we have them. I didn't need to know the history of it, but there's nothing else on. So move on.
Who invented the toilet?
I don't remember, but they were very fancy.
You should know.
No.
Thomas Crapper.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And he had his name.
Yes, he did.
He had his name on the commode.
Yes.
And when
The commode.
the Americans saw the name, and they said, going to the crapper.
I'm gonna go take a crap.
That's where this came from, I believe. My opinion. So, 70% of the world population does not use toilet paper.
Yes. I
And-
believe it.
In places in the Middle East and in India, they believe the best tool for wiping is the left hand.
Yeah. Well, they can keep it. I'm not doing it.
That's why you shake hands right-handed.
I know. It's so gross. I guess if you got nothing else.
So what should people do to prepare for this coronavirus?
I don't know. Everybody's got a different answer.
What's the difference between stockpiling and hoarding? Should a person stockpile?
Some people stockpile naturally. There's some people that prioritize having. One of my cousins, she has a large family.
Mormons
She
do this.
does not want to be out of toilet paper ever. So this did not affect her in any way, shape, or form because she always has plenty in storage.
What would you stockpile? Are you stockpiling?
I have plenty of what I need. I mean, I have all my baking stuff and
The first
TP, the whole.
the first thing you should stockpile is coffee.
I have coffee.
And you can get it from Nine Flags Coffee Roasters, 1504 North Street, Nacogdoches, Texas,
5964. I think it's correct. 75964.
75965.
Oh, whatever. 5.
Not whatever. If you send a letter here, it would get. That's why we're not having any more fan mail.
It would never make it here if you were off by one number.
The next thing you should stockpile, razor wire.
Maybe. It's ugly.
And to keep them out.
To keep them out.
Yeah, to keep all those corona people coming.
Oh my goodness.
You should have a radiation detection kit.
I need a nap.
I need a nap. What's wrong with a radiation detection kit?
Nothing.
I think this is something that you should
Nothing.
stock.
If you want one, get one. Have one. I don't see how it applies.
Rice, beans,
Oh, I always have beans
flour,
and rice.
sugar,
Yeah. All that
water.
stuff.
toilet paper. Duct tape. You don't need handcuffs.
Duct tape's pretty good.
When people are breaking into your compound and they've cut through the razor wire, that's where duct tape comes in.
Where does people's mind go?
Camouflage face paint.
I'm gonna ride away on my horse.
Camouflage face paint.
Camouflage face paint.
Yes.
Oh.
So they can't see you
I
coming.
feel like you're in a different scenario over here. Is this Vietnam? What's going on?
Social distancing.
Oh.
This is something that we should do. And those who believe in social distancing should have a very good long-range rifle. That was social distancing.
Well, I'm kind of a introvert myself, so none of this bothers me.
A minimum of 5 in your search and destroy group.
I'm glad to hear you're very prepared for.
This, and a bug out bag.
Oh,
You need a bug
yes,
out
you
bag.
must have this thing.
Yeah, and what would you have in it?
I don't know.
Well, coffee,
Coffee.
a coffee grinder, airtight bags to keep your coffee in. 60 days of 60 days of antibiotic and surgical net, thread, and needle. Now I know that we're making a bit of a spoof on all this. I know that. How about gardening?
Oh, I like it.
Well, it gets your mind away from things.
Well, it's
Gives you a chance to think.
it's good pastime. It's outdoors. I like it. You can grow some delicious food, or you can grow some nice flowers. Sorry, I'm not talking very loud.
Speak up, woman. Speak up.
Uh,
You're a bottom roller.
What does that mean?
Well, you're passive in your speak if you're not speaking loud
I
enough.
just somewhat forget about the microphone scenario here.
There's the microphone. You're close.
Okay.
Okay.
I've just received some critiques that I'm not loud enough, so I
Is
have
that
to
some from
remind
some of the
myself.
podcast people writing in? Have you received any letters?
My fan mail.
Well, Joanne did breaking up some of the garden yesterday, and she was talking about how she had a pain down in the lower part of her, she calls her hammies.
Oh,
Her
yeah,
hams.
the hammies.
And she was saying, well,
That's
my my hammies. How did she say it? She said, I've got it written down here. Yes. She said, her hammies hurt. And I said, big old hammies? And I said, well, you've really got little hammies, but a person might say big old hammies. on a big old mammy.
My son hates the word hamstring. It grosses him out for some reason. It's like, don't say that word. Oh, are we supposed to be wrapping it up?
Okay, well, let's do this real quick.
We're not supposed to.
Give you some recovery on the coronavirus. Get happy. 2, look on the bright side. You don't have to go to a job that you've hated all your life. Get optimistic. Get over it. Watch some good movies like Apocalypse Now, The Deer Hunter, A Night of the Living Dead, something that'll perk you up a little bit. And the last, get something sweet like chocolate that goes with your coffee at Nine Flags Coffee Roasters, Nacogdoches, Texas. Goodbye for now, and if we survive, we'll see you next time.